Every choice you have made has led you to this moment.
How's it going, everyone? I'm SirJames, coming at you guys with yet another custom lightsaber review. This time we're going to be taking a look at a lightsaber that I purchased from the Dark Wolf Custom Saber shop, and that is going to be for Lord Maul's saber that we've seen in the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series, specifically in the final season where we have characters such as Ahsoka and Bo-Katan working together to put a stop to Lord Maul's reign on Mandalore, leading up to, of course, the season finale with Order 66 taking place. It just never gets old. I was rewatching that prior to this video, and it's like, such an awesome finale, even though I wish the Clone Wars could have continued a little bit more, but who knows, maybe we'll get some more episodes once in a while, kind of like with the Tale of the Jedi series. But yeah, ever since I saw Maul wielding this particular saber, I thought to myself, eventually I'm going to get one, and now I finally have one. I was patiently waiting, and this was actually technically my first lightsaber purchase starting off the new year. But yeah, like I said, I purchased this from the Dark Wolf Custom Saber shop. Now, Dark Wolf Sabers is not new as far as the saber market goes. He's been around the community for quite a bit of time now and had a very good reputation. And so I wanted to purchase something from him, and this is the one that I went with. In fact, I was basically juggling it between Dark Wolf Sabers or Korbanth, because this one here is technically an LGT version of the hilt, while the one on Korbanth would have been won by 89 Sabers. And it came down to, okay, do I want to spend $1,200 or do I want to spend less than half of that and still get a relatively killer deal? And well, obviously I chose the one where I'm going to save more. So let me first start off by giving you guys a closer look at it. Now, even though this is the cheaper version, is there anything that I did cheap out on? There's only one thing that's not present on here, which I'll point out in just a moment. Now, this is rocking the Profi board configuration, and if you do purchase this on Dark Wolf Sabers, you actually do get a lot of stuff with this, not only in terms of accessories, but it also includes pre-installed 32 lightsaber fonts. Now, I will point out that as far as the lightsaber fonts go, especially for anyone that knows how to tweak with Profi settings, is that unfortunately the sound fonts are not, well, they're not, what's the word I'm looking for, like organized. Like, it doesn't tell you, okay, this is Rey's saber font or Luke's saber font. It's just noted as bank 0 all the way to 32. And unless if you are familiar with the characters, you're going to have to go by each individual one and then relabel all those, so that way you know which particular font package goes to what character. It's a little bit of a tedious process, but that's basically what I ended up doing. But then again, there's a lot of good fonts on there, especially for what you're paying. Now, what is the main thing that you're not going to get with this one that you could have gotten on something a little bit more higher, like if I spent that extra money? Now, because this is an LGT one, the one thing that's not going to be present here is, unfortunately, there is no form of crystal inside this particular section. For anyone familiar with this hilt, you guys know that there would be a crystal on the inside, specifically in this spot towards the center. And of course, when the saber is ignited, you'll be able to see that glowing effect right here. That unfortunately is not present in this particular one, which is a little bit on the downside. But again, for the price that I paid and for how much I saved, I can't really complain too much, because I still love this regardless of it not having that. In fact, let me show you guys exactly what this all came with, because again, there was quite a bit of stuff. Now, this was altogether under $600. Under. This includes, basically, you get blades with it. You do have the option of what length of the blade you want. I ended up opting in getting the 28-inch blade for the length. And the reason why is because I already have 36 and 32-inch blades for the 7/8 blade sizing. And I wanted to get some smaller blades because obviously I would like to take this with me to Disney. And obviously trying to deal with a double-bladed lightsaber with really long blades through the crowds is just really annoying. And having the shorter blades are going to help a lot. And I did test that theory out, and that's exactly what it is. So first things first is that everything came in this box right here, basically this really cool case. I was actually quite impressed because I was like, wow, this is pretty heavy. Now, you can set the combinations if you want. I just thought I'd quickly showcase it. It's like a simple looking case, but when you open it up, it was jam-packed with a lot of things on the inside, all the way full to the brim. So the lightsaber will be like perfectly wrapped on the one side, and then all your other accessories. So what you would get is that you would have 2 of these baggies, which will have all your tools and timing shims and things like that already in there. You will also get 2 sets of a USB-C charging cable, because you can charge the batteries on the saber while it's still in the hilt, or if you want, you can disassemble everything and remove the battery and replace it if you so desire. You also get these cool little metal cards that basically have instructions on how to operate it. It shows you the 1-button setup, configuration controls, which, by the way, I might as well point that out now. It is a 1-button setup lightsaber, just so you know, so it's no 2-button like a main activation and a secondary. You do also get included 2 lightsaber stands. They do come pre-wrapped like this. You just have to remove the white little, whatchamacallit, the little paper that's covering the acrylic. And here is what the lightsaber stand looks like when it's fully assembled. As I mentioned, you do get 2 of these because not only is this a double-bladed lightsaber, but if you wish, you can disconnect it and have it as 2 individual sabers if you desire. You also get your included tools, again, to fully dismantle it, take it apart, and all that fun stuff. The blade, as I mentioned, I got 28-inch blades, which I have right in here. And I did opt in because I was already saving a lot. I did opt in to buy the lightsaber belt clip that they would have included as well. Which my saber does have CoverTech wheels already pre-installed. But yeah, like I said, I mean, you get a ton of stuff here, which is pretty good for the value that you're paying. I know for sure that if I had gotten the 89 Sabers version on Core Math, I probably wouldn't have got this many things, that's for sure. Which, there's nothing wrong with the 89 Sabers version. Again, if you want the higher tier version, then definitely go for it. I was just looking for a little bit of a saving cost here. But yeah, like I said, I was just pretty impressed with the value. As I did mention before, you can disconnect this at the center. And have this as 2 individual lightsabers to use as your, so wish. Or again, you could have these displayed on the 2 different stands, or just have it pre-connected. The timing shims in the box are going to be used to help try to align these sabers a little bit together. You might have to keep constantly adding timing shims until eventually you get it to the right spot, which is how I have mine already pre-set up. I mean, excuse me, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. And as far as how does it feel in terms of comfort, this feels really good. In fact, I know you guys are probably tired of me talking. Let's go ahead and take this outside and take it for a spin, literally. And what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be starting off a little bit easy. I will be using the 28-inch blades that I got, just so I have a little bit more control and comfort with it. And then I'm going to get probably a little bit more faster as I go along, and as I get more familiar with how it feels and how the weight is handled, and then kind of get back to you guys in terms of how that all handled. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
I see the Padawan needs one last lesson.
Obi-Wan was right. You are difficult to kill.
It's fine. Ah, that's funny.
The dark sword.
Alright guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the nice lengthy portion of me swinging the saber around and getting a little bit crazy with it and the accidental drop. There is one thing I did notice that I wanted to point out. First off, the lightsaber was very comfortable as far as the controls go. I didn't feel like any uneasiness while handling the saber. But I did notice specifically on this portion of the saber, this half, that I kept checking during my twists and turns, is that parts started to basically become loose. Like these little pieces started to come loose here and there, especially the little red button here, which in fact I did lose this, but I did eventually find it the next day. And then also where the activation button is right here, that was coming loose a little bit. So if there's one thing that I probably would do as far as any form of notable differences, is that I would probably take a little bit of glue and glue some of those down. Because as far as activation goes, the only activation on this end is this button right here. While on the other one, the activation is going to be right here. But again, this doesn't have a lot of the gribblies or anything like that. So I would probably glue some of these pieces down, but that's totally up to you. The only one that I would not recommend gluing is this one. Because if you wanted to remove your chassis, which let me show you guys how that looks right here. We're going to go ahead and disconnect it from the middle portion. As I mentioned, you can fully recharge this while the battery's still in the hilt, But if you wish to remove the chassis entirely, on this one, you're going to have to remove the silver button, which is very easy to do, and then go ahead and remove the 2 screws right here on the back, and you'll be able to freely remove this entirely. And then when you reassemble it, obviously you're going to be putting in the silver screw first, and then these 2, and then it's just a very easy thing to do. But that's the only thing, really, is, like I said, those were coming a bit loose. I did go a little bit crazy with it. But other than that, it felt great wielding this. Because you guys know earlier this year, I did the Venturous double-bladed saber. Well, as 2 individual ones, but trying to wielding it as a double-bladed was just a little bit too rough to handle. And I can't remember the one that I did prior. It's been a while since I did a few double-bladed sabers, but I really love how this one feels. I was very impressed. I was very happy with how it handled, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So even though, again, since this doesn't have that glowing bit right here, it's not a huge loss, because in the end, I'm having a lot of fun with this hilts, and one that I could easily recommend for sure. But let me know what you guys think about this particular lightsaber in the comment section down below. Like I said, I'm very happy with the purchase, and I'll have a link to this in the description down below if you would like to purchase the same one as I got. Now, there is one thing I did a little bit different, is that while you don't get gesture controls out of the box, if you are familiar with the Profi configurations and how all that works, there is, I forget which version of Profi, it's like 6 point something, where you could actually have gesture controls for the 1-button setup, which is what I enabled, which would have the twist on and off, the thrust for some of the moments where, because you got to get the thrust right, where you're just thrusting forward and back to have like the blades ignite individually without having to press the buttons. It just makes it that much better in my opinion. But if you don't know how to do all that, again, it does come with 32 saber fonts. You don't really need to worry about any of the programming. The cards explain how to work it. It's a very easy process. But I like this. In the end, definitely has my recommendation. But again, let me know what you guys think down below. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next product review. And always remember, may the Force be with you.